What's up, guys? Welcome in. It's been a minute. Been a minute, I'd say, right? I'm still working on this setup. New mic, same mic, just haven't used it in a long time. Hope everyone's doing well on this Monday night. I'm here to answer all your questions. Absolutely. You're welcome for the content. I've been playing a lot of the new game Elden Ring on my new channel. So if you guys want to head on over there at some point during this stream, would really help me out. I'm trying to get that up because I put all the gaming on a new channel, just so you guys know. So I'm going to put it up right now in the comments section. We're at over 170 subscribers, getting closer to 200 on that. So would really help me out if you guys could even just subscribe and, that's that. But welcome in. This channel from now on is not going to have any gaming. In case you guys didn't know, all gaming will be on my Jake Ellenbogen gaming channel. And as far as everything else goes, everything will be on here. So I'll have the Rams content. I'll have, I'll have everything. So the Rams entertainment, USFL, whatever, I'll have that all there. But what is up, everyone? What's up, Paul, Mark, Pineapples, Johnny? Paul, rumor has it the Rams will be playing the Cardinals in Mexico next season. I haven't actually seen that, but wow, that would be pretty nuts there. HD, how's it going? Paul, Rams House, Champ from LA, what's up? Absolutely, you're very welcome for the content. Pineapples, yeah. Can't find the like button on my phone. Should be a thumbs up. If not, it might be glitching out. You might have to go back into the app. What do you think Sean McVay's new contract will look like and for how long? I'd have to imagine it starts at what he was asked. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, a head coach getting $25 million per year, but if Sean McVay's turning that down, then yeah, you have to pay him. I'd say at least $15 million, if not more. I'd probably pay him $20 million. Doesn't hurt the cap or anything like that before you guys ask. So I don't know. To me, that's what I would do, but I guess we'll see where it goes. Okay, let's see. What do you saw that? Who's staying with the Rams and who's leaving, Jake? Well, not really sure. I think really the only one that I feel comfortable saying is leaving is Sony Michel, because I think he's going to get a job somewhere else to be a running back. So, it won't surprise me if and when he does leave. Appreciate it. I'm loving this sweatshirt. It's probably the only one I really liked personally in the the store. There are a lot of Super Bowl merch, obviously. This was probably my favorite, I would say. So actually I'm going to tighten this. There we go. That way it doesn't freak out. All right. But yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's a great message, Alexander. You're absolutely right. $100 million for 5 years to turn that down to keep coaching when it's a way more stressful job. There's way more that you have to do. It says a lot about him and how much he truly enjoys what he's doing. So, I think that's definitely something that needs to be said and needs to be understood. Non-Rams related question. How do you think Michael Thomas will come back after only starting 5 games in the last 2 years? Great question. I mean, for fantasy owners of Mike Thomas, I'm not really sure what you do with him. I mean, the last time this guy was fully healthy, he broke the receptions record. Call him slant boy all you want, but I mean, that's still impressive in at least in that regard. So I'm not really sure what you do with him. Obviously, you look at his ability to get off the line of scrimmage. His footwork is phenomenal. He's got one of the best releases in all of football. His double move is great. He's got great size, physicality, So, I mean, this is definitely somebody that can be right back to form and be one of the best receivers in the league. But we just don't know what to expect coming from an injury like that. So, that's definitely, a player that I would not have the slightest clue of what to do if I had him in fantasy. Then again, I didn't know what to do with Saquon Barkley in fantasy, and I eventually ended up trading him for Joe Mixon and Marlon Humphrey in a league with defensive players. So I think I made out well in that regard. I really like Saquon, but I just kind of feel like, I don't know what's going on there with the Giants. This, keep in mind, this was before they did get what's his face, Dable. So I mean, he could end up being great, but I didn't know. What's up, Michael? How we doing? I gotta make you a mod. Let's see, 1 second, Michael King. All right, Michael, you are now a moderator. I feel like that is a long time coming, seeing as you're my buddy and all. Give McVay the bank. I'm here with that. What position you think we drafting in the first in the draft? All right, so that would be third round pick, compensatory, because of the selection. Well, because of the hiring of minority hire, Brad Holmes. So with that being said, I could see them going corner. I could also see them going offensive line. I don't really know where they're going to go. That's a good question. That is a good question there. But I could see them going corner. I could see them going offensive line, interior offensive line. I don't think they're going to draft a tackle. I don't think they need to, because I think they're going to bring back Noteboom, and at that point they have a lot of versatility. You look at David Edwards being able to play left tackle, Noteboom, Ankrum. We now found out that, during this season anyway, we found out that the kid from Iowa can play tackle, Ulrich Jackson. So, it's definitely something there, something that they'll keep in mind. Combine thoughts? I don't really like the combine, to be honest with you. I'm glad that the Rams aren't going to it. I mean, whatever. Like, people are like, well, what do you think about the Rams and not doing this and not doing that? Well, they won a Super Bowl doing all of what they're doing now. So I think teams are going to, slowly but surely kind of follow their path and follow suit, and maybe they'll figure it out. But I agree. I don't really understand why they would go to the combine if they feel like they could better use their time not traveling and focusing in their own house. I kind of like it, to be honest with you. I'm not playing a game now. I'll be playing Elden Ring within the next hour or so. So that will be on my gaming channel. I hope everyone does subscribe to that. I'll drop the link there. And yeah, the link's there. Just slowly but surely trying to build that thing up. I'm not monetized on there, so it's going to be a hobby until I can get monetized, unfortunately. Pain in the ass, yes, but hopefully it'll be all worth it, because what I've found is that while I do generate traffic on here, I don't get, when I'm doing gaming videos and stuff like that, my sports videos, because it has to go in the gaming, category, it doesn't get, recommended in the, what's the word I'm looking for? Algorithm. And so because of that, it was hurting my channel gaming. Even though I was, making some ad revenue off it, not enough to keep doing it, but it definitely was hurting the Rams content. It's not going out to the people that want to consume this content. YouTube puts you in a rough position if you try to be a versatile YouTuber, streamer, whatever, and I've noticed that, and I'm learning slowly but surely. But yeah, we'll be streaming just about every night, in some capacity. I want to do more Q&As. I think they help. I think they are really good for the community, and just check in for an hour, talk, answer some questions. So that's what I intend to do. We'll see how consistent I can be with that, but I definitely intend on doing it. All right. So YouTube in the comments, love it. Let's see. Where do you think Rodgers will go? I mean, right now I kind of get the feeling, HD, that I could see him going to Denver. I could see him staying with the Packers. I could see him going to Indy. Not really sure. And as far as I don't think Brady's going to go to the 49ers. Yeah, I agree with that, King. Niners will remain our biggest threat in the conference, 100%. Yeah, I don't know too much about the Kyler Murray stuff. I haven't been really following with that apparently because I didn't really see it. I just heard that something happened with Kyler Murray, but you know, I think he should go play baseball since it looks like that's really what he wants to do. Um, I think Andrew Whitworth is going to retire, but I'm not as certain as I was prior. Let's see. I don't think he needs to stay, but it would be cool if he stayed. What's up, Samuel? Still curious about the location of championship banners for the Rams. SoFi Stadium has hardly felt like Rams atmosphere. There are no retired jerseys in the stadium. Julio, I think that's something where, you put together a Ring of Honor at some point, but they just didn't want to go in right away and doing it. I think it's going to take them some time. But like I've been told, from some people, kind of giving me the heads up, they either work at SoFi or work for the Rams, whatever, that eventually at some point there's going to be a Ring of Honor for the Rams at SoFi Stadium. So, I don't know if they'll hang up jerseys, but they'll probably put the numbers up. It'd be cool if they hung up the jerseys like in the rafters, like a hockey venue or NBA. But that's what I think for now. Pair of third round picks. I agree with that. I think Morris is going to get a head coaching gig. If not after this upcoming season, it'll be after next. So I agree with that. I really like the interview you did with the Virginia Tech O lineman. Appreciate that, Johnny. Yeah, he was so great. He really was. So I'm really looking forward to him. Lasitas is a good dude, and I've seen his film. I think he could help the Rams if they want to acquire some depth at inside interior offensive line and develop him, and he could become a starter in this league. I really do believe that. Biggest threat in the NFC, Will? I'd say the biggest threat is San Francisco. Simply because if you look at San Francisco, they were a Matthew Stafford away from winning the Super Bowl. I understand how that sounds, but I mean, look at that team. Look at all those guys. You got the Bosa's the world, you got Debo, you got Elijah, and keep this in mind. Elijah Mitchell was like a 5th round pick who was the second running back in their draft class out of Louisiana Lafayette. They now just call him Louisiana, I think, but you get my point. He ended up being really good this year for them. You have a Brandon Ayuk, somebody that obviously can make plays. You have George Kittle. Mike McGlinchey got hurt earlier in the season, the right tackle. He'll be back this year. Trent Williams is the best left tackle in all of football. They have a good interior. Daniel Brunskill's really developed. Then you look at guys like DJ Jones that played out of their freaking mind, Arik Armstead. Even Samson Ebukam was pretty solid for them. Then you look at their linebackers. You have Dre Greenlaw. You have Fred Warner. You have, Al-Shaair, Azeez Al-Shaair. Their corners, they have some talent there, obviously. You have to like what you've seen out of, Ambry Thomas, who, was, I believe, a rookie. And then safety, Tart and Jimmy Ward and, Hufanga from USC. They just have a lot of talent. So to me, that's one. That's why I have, and I said this, I think the NFC Championship game is going to come down to the Rams and 49ers once again, because I really do feel like if Trey Lance is as good as I believe he will be, they're going to be a problem. And here's the thing, for everyone so quick to want to trade away Trey Lance and say he's a bust, he started one game. He won that game against Houston. And furthermore, what I'll say is that he's 21 years old. There's not a draft pick worth drafting that is younger than Trey Lance or even Trey Lance's age. The youngest out of all of the top draft quarterbacks this year is 22. So, before we call Trey Lance a bust, let's realize something. The 49ers are a dangerous team if Trey Lance can get that thing going. And I think he can. So, that's that. All right. Let's see. Good question, by the way, Will. The Rams should go after a 150-pound receiver. Can't tell if you're joking or not. As everyone knows, Rams quite a few free agents to keep: Miller, OBJ, DWill, SJD, etc. If you could only keep two, who would they be and why? I would keep OBJ and Von Miller, because I think those two make the most of a difference. I would say I love SJD. I love SJD. But the Rams won the Super Bowl basically without SJD. They won all of those playoff games without SJD. They basically went 9-1 the rest of the way without SJD. So the way that Greg Gaines produced and the way he got better over time, definitely all for him being the starter. If they can bring back SJD, great, but I'm not guaranteeing that Sebastian Joseph Day will be a Ram next year. Odell, though, you talk about the idea of having him with Woods and Kupp and, Higbee and, Van Jefferson and just everybody. I think the idea of having Odell back with all those guys makes a lot of sense. You give him a 2-year deal, heavy incentive second year. Kind of throw him a bone, let him recover, have him come back mid-season and make a run at defending your title. And then, Von Miller, it's not even so much so Von Miller, right? The reason I want to bring back Von Miller so much is because of what he does for everybody else. Because now when you have Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and, Leonard Floyd, all of a sudden, one of these guys, you can't double all of them. And most of the time, you're not going to double Von. So you're going to double Aaron Donald. And so I think he makes everything easier and harder on the defense, easier on the defense, harder on the offense. And so that's why I'd pick those two. But Darius Williams, absolutely not. He did not play his way into his contract. We'll see if he comes back. I'm not opposed to him coming back on a cheap deal, but I would not pay him top dollar. I can tell you that much. And he's one of those older corners. He's like in his, he's 28, 29 right now. So, he is an older UDFA that, took a little bit longer, and, that's something to keep in mind moving forward. Let's see. How the Rams draft will depend on what they do with their pending free agents. If we bring everybody on the offensive line back and Big Witt retires, they won't go O-line. They just brought in a bunch of wide receivers, so nope there. I agree with that. I don't know why there's so many people saying they need a deep threat and they need wide receivers. I mean, didn't we go over this like last offseason, how I said they didn't need a deep threat? And sure enough, Van Jefferson was good enough and he proved it. I mean, he was 6th in the league in yards per reception. I just, I don't see that. And then, with offensive line, they still have plenty of talent. As long as they bring those guys back, like you're saying, Renee, they don't really have to go offensive line. I mean, I would be interested. Right now, Tampa's in some trouble because Ali Marpet just announced his retirement. And, you look at a guy like I've talked about, in, what's his face? Ryan Jensen at center. That would be such an upgrade at center. I understand he's a little bit older than Brian Allen, but he's a lot better than Brian Allen, and he offers more of a mean streak than Brian Allen. It would be so awesome to get him at center, and the Rams can do it. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the article, but the Rams can theoretically, not saying they will, but they have a pathway to clear. I've been saying $60 million cap, but this article on Spotrac actually broke it down and said the Rams have a pathway to clear over $100 million in cap space. That is not to say they'd have $100 million free. That's to say they could clear it, so they'd have about $80 to $90 million free if they did everything. To me, I think it's very simple when you look at it. The Rams have as much money as can be, okay? They're going to be able to make any move that they want to make. They can literally sign anybody that they want to sign. It's going to be up to them if they want to pay that price, because the thing is, it's very simple. They can move money around. They can manipulate the cap. They can bring back anybody they want. They have to decide if it's worth it. To me, OBJ is. To me, Von Miller is. SJD, based on the production that they got out of Greg Gaines, I don't know. But as we know, next man up is huge. So having SJD as a backup to him or a rotational basis might be worth the cost. Then you look at Darius Williams. To me, he's not worth $10 million. I don't even think he's worth $8 million, because you have guys like DJ Reed that are hitting the market that were top 10 according to PFF. You have a guy by the name of Stephon Gilmore who's really good friends with Jalen Ramsey and is a hell of a player in his own right. He's also there. Veteran presence, would be a really nice guy opposite Jalen. There are a lot of different angles that they could go. Charvarius Ward and Rashad Fenton, I believe, are both free agents as well from the Chiefs. Both had pretty solid years. I could see them going a myriad of ways, but for me, that is one thing I continue to think about, is that the Rams do not have a spending limit, so to speak. They'll be able to bring back who they want. It's a matter of if they want to do it. There's a lot of hard work that they have to do. There's a lot of moving around that they have to do. It takes a lot, and also tax on to next year. So it's like adding, onto your bill, instead of just paying, for that Amazon purchase up front, you put it on an Amazon card and you pay it off in 4 payments or whatever they do. Instead of just paying it up front, you're basically going to pay for it over time. And you can move that money around, but it's called kicking the can down the road, and it guarantees these contracts more and more and more. That's why Leonard Floyd's $20 million cap hit this year is not going to happen. They're going to get that thing down to probably $7 million. They might use some void deal language and things like that to make it even $6 million, but it will not be a $20 million cap hit. This is the way the Rams operate. It's just the question is, how far do they want to go with this operation? Do they want to go all the way and make sure, okay, we want to get Stafford signed, we want to get this guy signed, we want to get this guy, we want to bring this guy back, we want to bring this guy in. They have to decide that. And so there's a lot of different avenues that they can go, and that's a great thing. When you're a fan of a team that can do that many things, it's a lot of fun for sure. So the Rams are going to be must-watch TV or must-watch Twitter, whatever you want to call it, this offseason. There's a lot of different things that they can go for sure. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I definitely agree with you, Renee. Now, HD, do you think Brady will go to the 49ers? I do not. Let's see here. The real GOAT, what is going on in free agency? Any opportunities for the Rams? I think there are definitely some opportunities. You can go running back and get a cheaper option than Sony Michel. You can get a guy in Kalen Ballage who's got the size and the speed combination, can break tackles, can help you in the passing game, can do all sorts of stuff. So, to me, I think he didn't have as big of a role this year with the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 1-year deal because of Najee Harris. And, of course, they went to the guy that knew the playbook more, was there for 2 years, and Benny Snell. But that's somebody that I think is a cheap option that has some good versatility. And now, all of a sudden, you have to start thinking about this. The Rams could bring in, theoretically, any, free agent running back, and if Sean McVay has a role for them, they could improve on their production tenfold. I mean, that's really what I'm getting at here, is that you bring in a guy like Ballage, and I see a lot of the times people roll their eyes and people say, well, Ballage sucks and he can't do this or can't do that, doesn't see the whole whatever. Imagine putting him in Sean McVay's offense. And this is why I look at a guy like Cordarrelle Patterson. If you can make it work, Cordarrelle Patterson would be invaluable for this offense. If you can make it work, Jerick McKinnon would be invaluable for this offense. Those are two gadget guys that obviously can play a role as a running back, but can help you in the passing game like the receivers. I mean, Patterson's a former receiver. He can help you in the return game. That's another thing. If Braden Powell wants to, get paid extra and you don't want to pay him the extra, you could just get Cordarrelle Patterson. He would be just as good, if not better, one of the best return guys in the league. To me, you got to bring back Powell, but it'd be nice to have at least both of them. And I'd argue Powell is a better punt returner than he is a kick returner. And so I would probably put Cordarrelle Patterson, who's returned some kicks for touchdowns, I'd put him at kick returner. That's one of the guys that I'm definitely looking at. His season with the Falcons was very impressive and put him on the radar. And he'd be like a 1-year deal. But, this is somebody at this point in his career, 31, 32 years old. He wants to win a ring. So, and that's what you're going to find is a lot of these guys might take less money just to go to LA. Because first off, it's LA. You haven't had this opportunity, until 2016. So a lot of these veterans never had a chance when they went into free agency or they've gotten extended because LA didn't have a team. Now you have a chance to play in LA. And on top of that, you have a chance to play for Sean McVay, a 36-year-old coach who's already the best coach in the history of his organization and is already looking like he's on a fast track if he continues coaching to being one of the greatest coaches of all time. And then on top of that, you would not only be playing with Sean McVay, you'd not only be playing in LA, you'd be playing for the team that just won a Super Bowl and has stars and has really good, talented players that aren't necessarily stars, but are a notch below stars that make this team work. And so to be a part of that, sometimes, you find guys that want to be mercenaries, like a Prince Amukamara. He didn't sign with a team that necessarily could have won a Super Bowl. He signed with teams like the Bears and the Giants because he wanted the money. There are guys like that. But then there are also guys that will take less money to go and win a Super Bowl like Odell Beckham Jr. Guys like that are all around the league. And so for me, that is something that I'm definitely looking at moving forward with the Rams, because I think there are guys that we don't even realize are interested in playing with this team, and that the Rams are going to find out that they're interested, willing to take a pay cut, take less money, whatever, to go win a Super Bowl. And this is what happens. Winning becomes infectious, and having this culture, it's just going to be different. I mean, think about this. You're a player. You're drafted by the Jaguars organization. The Jaguars are known for literally pushing out Jalen Ramsey, Dante Fowler Jr., and Ronnie Harrison. Harrison is a second-round pick out of Alabama, their safety of the future. He was gone in 2 years because he was so tired of the toxicity in that environment. Jalen Ramsey was a former first-round pick, as was Dante Fowler Jr., and furthermore, so was Yannick Ngakoue. So you push out, he wasn't a first-round pick, but he was a star, and he's one of the guys. So they pushed out all those guys. Now imagine you are a draft pick. You go to the Jaguars. You are around this organization that just does not treat you well. You don't enjoy it. You're playing in Jacksonville, Florida. You like the fans, but you don't really like the surroundings. You don't really like Florida. And then all of a sudden, they say that we're not going to bring you back. And the Rams, that just won the Super Bowl, are interested in bringing you in, and all you have to do is take a little bit less money to play for a team that's already won a title, has a very, very positive, culture, and has these guys that can make you better. I mean, look at what Aaron Donald meant for some of these guys' careers. I think he improved Leonard Floyd's game. I think he improved Dante Fowler Jr.'s game. I think that's what happens when, the stars, guys like that, guys that are that talented and guys that work that hard, their presence kind of rubs off on you. And so that's a big thing for me there. Man, let's see. Hey, Jake, what positions do you think the Rams need to focus on the most in the draft? I'd say corner and offensive line. Do you play paranormal horror on your other YouTube channel? I've played Resident Evil. I've beaten both of the newer games, so I guess that could count. The Rams should go up after 150. Oh, I saw that. What's your thoughts on the Kyler Murray situation? Personally, I think he's a crybaby who doesn't realize that his team failed in the playoffs because of him. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on, so I'm kind of ignorant to that whole thing. I just haven't really been focusing on it because it's involving a guy that I liked coming out, but he's a quarterback of a team that hasn't won a playoff game, and we treat them like they're bigger than they really are. They've proven nothing. Rams might go DL if they lose both SJD and A-Rob. They're not going to lose A-Rob. A-Rob is not a free agent. A-Rob is under contract. It's a matter of if they would cut him. I don't see why they would, but they could. I could see him going after inside linebacker, Renee. Play Forbidden West. At some point, Johnny, I'm going to be back on playing Forbidden West. I just got so into Elden Ring, man. It's so much fun. Young Will, I see you. Thoughts on free agents to keep? I'm fine with keeping all of them, except for really Sony Michel, because I think there are better running backs out there, and they'll cost less because they don't play for the Rams. They didn't win a Super Bowl. So, Brady to the Niners is a gun and mouse scenario for me. Do you think Tutu will turn into a football player? Yeah, I do. And here's the thing. I think Tutu Atwell is underrated. He wasn't a guy like Tavon Austin coming out where you looked at him in preseason and you're like, I don't know if this is going to work. Because I like Tavon Austin, but his preseason was less than stellar. And then, of course, his regular season, he struggled. He had some moments where he had some big games, but for the most part, he struggled. And I really do like him, so it was unfortunate. Tutu Atwell led the NFC in receptions in preseason, and he looked pretty good. He never got a chance to be utilized as a receiver, and he was never a returner in college, really. So to kind of throw him in the return role, it just looked like the Rams, drafted a guy who they thought was really talented, who they liked his speed, they liked his explosiveness, they liked his receiving ability, but they didn't really have a plan for him in this season. And so I'm really excited to see him moving forward. I think Atwell could have a role in this team. And I I think we're way too quick to judge him based on his size because, to be honest with you, his size really hasn't been an issue in college. And yeah, his injuries sucked, but just I don't know, let this guy kind of develop, I guess, because I think he showed you in one preseason that he's worth developing. I think corner is a severe need for the Rams. I don't think it's severe. But I could definitely see them going corner. And if they do get a guy like Gilmore in there, that could be a serious problem for teams. That could be like Clamp City. But if they get, DJ Reed, now we're talking about long term. Because like Reed was a top 10 corner this year. And if they got him, it would hurt Seattle, who is their division rival. And on top of that, this is somebody that, is young. So, I mean, they'd have him for a multi-year deal, whereas Gilmore's probably a 1 to 2 year thing. So we'll see. But I'm all for Gilmore, but I would really like DJ Reed. And sure, he's built just like Darius Williams. He's not very tall, but he plays bigger than his 5'9" size. So to me, I don't know. I really like, the idea of getting DJ Reed, but we'll see. But I think they could resign SJD just because of him getting injured. True. Yeah, I agree with that, Michael. Ashawn really did a nice job. Pineapples, Ashawn is not a free agent. He's under contract. James Conner of the Rams. I could see it. I mean, I think it would make more sense. I mean, the problem is, what is he going to get? Because if a team wants to just throw money at him, he has a lot of touchdowns under his belt, so I could definitely see that. Joe Hayden and the Rams. Now that would be interesting. I don't think he's great. I think he's solid. So I don't know if that makes a ton of sense, but I wouldn't be against it. Rams really lacking picks this year, so look for them to trade down from their compensatory 3rd-round pick to pick up another pick or two. I don't know, Renee. I mean, they got 8 picks, which is more than what you're given each year. I mean, I wouldn't say they're lacking. I could see them trading down, but at that point, I don't know. The 3rd rounder just feels different. I think they'll pick at in the 3rd round, probably trade down the 4th. We still got 8 picks. Yeah, I agree with that. Should we sign Raheem Mostert? That's an intriguing one. You see that ability at the 4-touchdown game in the playoffs. He's been hurt a lot, but if he were to stay healthy, he could definitely be an upgrade. The problem is, I think if you're letting a guy like Sony Michel go, then you want to somewhat fill that void with somebody that can, add that type of power. And I just don't know if Raheem is that guy, but he's intriguing. I think he's going to go to Miami and go play for the new head coach there and former OC in, Mike McDaniel, but that's just me. Hey, Jake, do you think the Rams will make a trade for more picks before the draft in April? I don't think so. I think there's more of a chance that they trade away more picks before the draft in April. Okay, tougher question. You keeping Corbett? How about Allen, especially after the Super Bowl? I want to keep Corbett, but I could totally see Corbett ending up with the Bengals, honestly. I could see him going and playing with Zach Taylor, as funny as that sounds. Allen, I wouldn't mind keeping for the right price, but, I think... Yes, Allen is a Pro Bowl alternate. At the same time, I do think Allen struggled down the stretch, and so I think they could upgrade Allen if they wanted to. First pick is easy peasy, Joseph Noteboom. If we lose Witt, we need Noteboom to fill that LT spot. The second pick would either be Brian Allen or right guard Austin Corbett. Got to keep staff upright. Noteboom would be my guy, first and foremost. Yeah, I agree with that, champ. San Francisco is a problem. I don't think DWill has to go. If he's willing to take a pay cut, I'm willing to see what DWill can do. He was hurt pretty much all year in some capacity, so I'm curious to see what he would do with a full off season, with Raheem Morris, but we'll see. Guys, appreciate everybody in here. We have 76 people in here. Let's be sure to hit the thumbs up, get the likes up. Hit the like button for me. Would really appreciate it. Would really help the algorithm out. We have to work overtime here because the algorithm is totally all over the place because I had 2 or 3 Elden Ring gaming streams on this channel, and it screwed up the algorithm with all of my videos. So, let's see. Would you be afraid of San Francisco if they got Brady? Would they be your Super Bowl favorites? No, because I don't think Brady's winning another Super Bowl even if he comes back. He can't beat the Rams. He's already proven he can't beat the Rams. The last since he left the Patriots, he's 0-3 against the Rams. I don't know. I think they have his number, and I think a big issue with Brady is when he's not under pressure, he's great, but when you pressure him, he's just like any other quarterback. And so, the Rams were able to get a lot of pressure on him in all three of those games, and that's what that's the recipe there. SJD probably gone. Good dude, leader type. Sean Robinson better. DWill gone. When do Rams get their rings? I've been Googling it almost daily. Can't find a date. I want to see the ring. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, it's probably, going to be, I would say, probably the start of the season. Like, I would say that for opening day at SoFi, which I think is probably going to be against the Bills. We'll see. Slam dunk OBJ coming back. If he comes back next year, he'll only be able to play 2 to 3 games in the regular season. It'll only cost like disagree with that, Renee, because it's the same ACL, so he'll be back quicker than what he would have been. So I'm hearing that he'd be back mid-season, and he could be back the start of the season, but that is a really hard deadline to make. So I think the Rams would push it out. They put him on the PUP list and have him come back week 6, 7, or 8. Rams gone in 2022. Sean Robinson isn't a free agent. I'm looking it up now, but I think his contract expires at the end of 2023. He's not a free agent in 2022. He signed a 2-year, $17 million deal. So, yeah, he is a free agent in 2023. He is signed through 2022. He's got a void year. And here's the reason for this. You ready? So initially he signed a 2-year, $17 million deal, right? So why did he get to play 2020, 2021, and 2022 would he get to play? Well, the reason for this is because the first season, it didn't count against his contract because he didn't play enough games. Remember when the Rams applied for that hardship waiver or something because of his heart condition? I believe they got it, and so that's why he's still under contract in 2022. To explain that, he's a free agent in 2023 because that would be 3 years. So the more you know. What's up, Ray? Run it back. I'm all for it. B2K shot. I do not think that they would go safety. While Weddle is gone, they will have Jordan Fuller to start the season, maybe a little bit delayed, but they'll have Terrell Burgess, who they spent a 3rd rounder on in 2020. They'll have the 2nd round pick in 2019 and Taylor Rapp. They'll have Nick Scott, who is, really turned it on. He's a 7th round pick in 2018, or actually 2019, I believe. I think they're fine at safety. So I don't see them doing anything like that. I mean, we'll see, but I just don't see it, Let's see. They gotta figure out a way on SpoTrack to not, like, it uses up so much memory. I don't know why, but like when I open up SpoTrack, my whole computer and my stream starts to like slow down. So I can't wait for my new computer because that won't be happening. Hopefully, maybe it's just an issue with the website. Guys, be sure to hit the like button. We're at 33. I know we can get higher than that. Like I said, it does help with the algorithm. Yes, I am aware, Samuel. That's a great question, but I am aware of that. Yes. What's up, Nolan? How we doing? Play you in Madden? I don't really like Madden that much, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm not that much of a fan, to be honest. Like I'll probably play it when 2023 comes out or whatever, but I don't know. I'm just like, it is what it is. Like I just don't love it. I think it's a good game. I don't think it's a great game. I don't feel like it upgrades each year, you know. I see us going after running back and DB in the draft. I could see that with running back. I think that the free agency is too good to me to not take a pass on one of the running backs, whether it be, somebody like McKinnon or Balaj or Cordero Patterson. Those are my top three guys I would go after. Do you think Blanton or Bryson Hopkins will have a much bigger role in 2022? I think both will, and I think, because they stepped up so much, I'm not going to 100% say that Johnny Munt is back next year, because I don't know if he would make the roster over those guys. This is his third ACL tear. I mean, the poor guy cannot stay. He can stay healthy. I don't want to say that, but, he's had 3 ACL tears. Tutu can be a deep threat. You can't teach speed. Yeah, but I think the deep threat's overrated. I've said this for a while. The deep threat is very overrated. The Rams never needed a deep threat. Guys can get vertical in the NFL. They had Deshaun Jackson, and yeah, he was good. But I mean, I'll take what they have. Like, don't get me wrong, the deep ball is really nice, and it's nice to have. But like, they don't need a guy specifically to do that. Cooper Kupp can do that. We saw that. I mean, talk about this. Cooper Kupp ran a 4.63 at the combine, which was pretty much like the same deal with Keenan Allen. The reason Keenan Allen fell is because of his tape. Like, not his tape, his combine. And what I'll say is this, with Cooper Kupp, it does not matter if he runs a 4.7 or a 4.4. If he's getting over the top like that against the Bucs the way he did, then, catching those big, bombs over the top, then I don't really care about having a specific guy that can stretch the field, because I think you have NFL speed, you can do it. Cooper Kupp plays way faster now on tape than he used to. And so for me, I think the deep threat is overrated, and I don't really care to have one. I think that they have a few. I think everybody can get vertical. Hell, even Skoranek got vertical. He just didn't catch it against the 49ers. But I think it's probably the most overrated thing out there for fans. Not to crap on you, Rick. I agree with you that Tutu can be a deep threat. I'm just saying, for the people that are constantly saying that they need a deep threat is all that matters. That's what I'm saying there. Yes, please hit the like button. Thank you, Nolan. What home games are you looking forward to seeing? Not really sure. I mean, I personally, if I could go, I would probably want to go to the first game when they're, unveil the Super Bowl rings and all that. Hopefully a banner. Like I said, I really do think it's going to be Rams-Bills opening night, Thursday night football. It'll be Sunday night football on a Thursday, which is the most idiotic thing ever. But it'll be Rams-Bills at SoFi. And I think it'll be a preview of the Super Bowl. It was Bucs-Cowboys last year, and that was terrible. Like, it wasn't terrible because it was a competitive game, came down to the wire. It was actually a really good game. But neither got to the championship game. So, I don't think Tutu will be a punt returner next year. He's not a returner, guys. He wasn't a returner in college. That's the common misconception, is that he was like pigeonholed as a returner, but he wasn't a returner in college. Brandon Powell will be the punt returner. If they do a kick returner, that's different, but he'll be a punt returner. Jim, where did you hear that we're letting go of Higbee? Because I've never heard that. That doesn't sound. No. No, we're not getting rid of Higbee. That's definitely not happening. Tutu. Yeah, it's true. I'm looking forward to the Dallas game. I really would love the Rams to hammer them. Same. We have 10 home games next year. We need this home field Rams fans show up. Oh, you're right, because they play the Chargers. Yeah. They're on the road against the Chargers. Isn't that funny? Hey Jake, are you aware that I saw that. Would it be crazy to go after Adams? Yeah, they don't need Adams. He'd also cost like $23 million. Bring in Derwin James. He's under the Chargers contract. I mean, once he becomes a free agent, sure. I think the Rams will be, a favorite in that. Who would I let go? I don't know if I would let go of anyone. I would just basically make it as simple as, if you're willing to take a pay cut, I'll keep you. If you're not, we have to move on. They did it with Brockers. I thought Brockers was more productive than some of the guys that they're going to ask probably to take a pay cut. So, yeah, I would love to have Patterson. Oh, that would be awesome. Renee, I do disagree. I mean, I agree somewhat. To me, Funk is a 4. Funk is not a 3. We saw what a 3 means in this Rams offense. Quite honestly, I think that we've overrated Cam Akers a bit. I think we've underrated Darrell Henderson a bit, and I think the Rams are basically a 3 running back, committee. We know what Cam Akers can do when fully healthy, but even I was guilty of this. I mean, he comes back and all this excitement and it's great and everything's awesome, but we got to call it like it is. We rushed Cam Akers into the spotlight, and I mean, was it really fair? Was he really ready? I mean, I don't know if he was. So, I mean, to me, I think that getting another guy makes a lot of sense. I think either Patterson or McKinnon. I mean, McKinnon was splitting time with Darrell Williams and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I definitely think he would really help. Johnny, thank you so much for donating. Really appreciate you. All right, you have a good one, man. I'll see you soon. Once again, appreciate the donation. Yeah, so I mean, I would go with 3 running backs. Bowser, I disagree. Henderson, he may be injury prone, but I'm not cutting Henderson. Henderson's a big reason why they were able to win that Super Bowl. Cam Akers and Sony Michel did nothing. Keep that in mind. Henderson had over 40 yards receiving coming off a high ankle sprain, in which he didn't play all of the playoffs. Don't forget what got you there, and do not forget what ended up helping you in the game. Why can't I find a Jalen Ramsey white jersey? Can anyone help? I really can't find any of the Super Bowl patch jerseys, so I don't know if you're looking for that, but I have no idea where to find them. I like Hendo coming out of the backfield. Same here. I think in the draft in April, the Rams draft a running back, offensive line, outside linebacker, middle linebacker, quarterback. What do you think about that, Jake? Agree or disagree? I mean, it's very detailed. I think the Rams will draft a few positions and then probably go best available. Yeah, I agree with that, Rick. His arm, yeah, it was just one of those freak injuries. Hi, Jake. Minus the accolades, who would you rather have, Stafford or Rodgers, and can you compare the two? Great question, DC. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd rather have Stafford right now. I think Rodgers is the better player. I think Rodgers is the better quarterback. But from what I know, what I have with the Rams and what I have with Stafford, I'll take Stafford. Stafford is the clutchest quarterback in the NFL, and it's not relatively close now that Brady's gone. Stafford has the most fourth quarter comeback victories. He has the 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions coming off this past season. He has that going for him. He's got the best passer rating in the league in second halves of any game. To me, this is somebody when his best is required, that's when he steps up and plays his best. He's the only one in the history of the NFL to not win Super Bowl MVP after throwing 3 touchdowns. We all know why, because God forbid, look, I'm not trying to hate on Cooper Kupp. I'm totally fine with him getting the Super Bowl MVP, but Stafford was robbed, and the interceptions were BS, and, I don't know. I just think, I don't know. I'm trying to say this in a way that doesn't offend, doesn't trash Cooper Kupp, but I just feel like Stafford was never going to win the MVP because, the Super Bowl MVP, because people were never going to give him his credit. That simple. He threw 2 interceptions. Oh, I was right about Stafford. He threw 2 picks. Okay, well, one of them, Ben Skoranek tipped up and got it picked off and definitely was not that bad of a throw. And the second one was an arm punt where basically, if it gets picked, oh, well, now it's a punt on the 3rd and long. And number 2, he threw it up for Van Jefferson to make a play on it, and he didn't. So, I don't know. And that's just my thoughts on that. But yeah, good question, DC. I would take Stafford where I have, if I were to start a team from scratch, I would still take Stafford because he's younger. And I feel like that clutch gene matters. I'm just saying. And I love Rodgers. I'm one of his only fans now, it seems like. But I like Rodgers, and, I love watching him play. And I just think that, I don't know. I just think that at the end of the day, Matthew Stafford is more clutch. Rodgers only has 1 Super Bowl, and Matthew Stafford has 1. The only difference is Matthew Stafford basically, his first year not being on a team that didn't have, and as great as Stafford's team was this year, let me just explain this to you guys. The 2020 team was better. Okay, I don't think this was more talented than the 2020 roster. If you put Stafford on that 2020 roster, they 100% win the Super Bowl. I still think they had a shot even with Goff. I think they could have won the Super Bowl with Jared Goff as long as Aaron Donald was healthy against Green Bay and Cooper Kupp was healthy. I think they really had a shot at winning that Super Bowl. I mean, Tom Brady played utter crap in the next round and went on to the Super Bowl, throwing 3 interceptions. I don't know. And I'm inclined to believe that Tom Brady can't beat the Rams since he left the Patriots. I'm inclined to believe that they probably win that game. And then they go on and play Patrick Mahomes with no offensive line. Best defense in the league versus no offensive line. Didn't we just see that? I mean, I think the Rams would have won the Super Bowl if Donald and Kupp were healthy. With Wolford or Goff, I think that was a big issue. I think Wolford getting hurt them, but I think then Goff played pretty well in a hostile environment at Lambeau. Didn't have Kupp. Donald was 30% healthy, didn't really make much of an impact. I don't know, man. HD, I think there'll definitely be a drop-off in Cooper Kupp's play, but I don't think he's going to decline. I think what'll happen is the fact that, you'll have Robert Woods back, and guys will get healthier. And I think there's a big reason, why this run game struggled so much and why this offense at time never reached their potential or their full potential, even despite winning a Super Bowl, is because, I think a big part of the offense was going to come down to using Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson in tandem, and we never got a chance to really see that. So I think next year Cooper Kupp's targets will go down, Cooper Kupp's yards will go down, but it won't be like a decline, like as if like he's bad or anything like that. I don't think his play will drop off at all. I just think it's more mouths to feed. It's like the greatest show on turf. I mean, Marshall Faulk probably could have been the first ever 3,000 yard total offense player, where he had 1,500 yards receiving and 1,500 yards rushing. But Marshall Faulk couldn't do that because he was on a team with Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, and whether you want to put him out there or not, Asahir Raheem, and then you have Ernie Conwell. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, there's too many mouths to feed for Kupp to get back to that level. But, I mean, he could play at that level and just not get as many targets. I would not be surprised if that's the case. Or he could be better. Who knows? Maybe it's too many mouths to feed. Maybe he is better. I mean, maybe it helps having Robert Woods out there. Maybe it doesn't take away his targets at all. Who knows? I mean, we just don't know. Appreciate you, Rayan. My opinion of Chris Garrett, very impressive, D2 player. Want to develop him long term. Think he can be a starter, but, obviously will take some time. I think you could see him in some games next year. I think this year he might have been a little bit ahead of the curve, and I think COVID kind of slowed him down a bit. But, I like him long term, so that's what I'll say about that. I like Chris Garrett. I don't think Sony Michel only played 2 snaps because he had a Super Bowl touchdown against the Rams. Yeah, Ernest Jones looks great. Well, that's what I'm saying, HD, is that, Cam was coming off an Achilles injury, so I think he got a little overrated based on the fact that it was just Cam Akers, but he was not the same, no. And, I mean, he'll probably be the same, but, whoa, I didn't rush Cam. I kept telling anyone who would listen Henderson was doing just as well, so basically we have 2 versions of Cam, so when one gets hurt, the other plays. Oh, Renee, I mean, you know me. I've been defending Henderson from the moment I needed to defend Henderson. I mean, so I hear you there. Bring in Nick Chubb. How are you going to bring in Nick Chubb? James Conner? I don't know. He might cost some money. It's not 100% that Big Wit retires. I liked Mark Bulger for what Mark Bulger was. I didn't love Mark Bulger, and I don't feel like he elevated the level of play around him. I think he was a really good quality starter, but he did also have Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt and Marshall Faulk and Steven Jackson and Kevin Curtis. I mean, I think Bulger was really good for what he was. Like, Bulger would have won a Super Bowl, I think, this year with the Rams. I think Bulger would have won a Super Bowl in 2020. But I think he had to have the pieces in front of him. Like, we saw after the greatest show on turf had really died. Like, we're talking like it's the end. Bulger was terrible. And I don't think that means he's a terrible quarterback. I just think it means that he really needs a lot of help around him. And he can't elevate guys around him like the way some other quarterbacks can. And not everyone can. But, like, I mean, when you look at Matthew Stafford, even when that team was horrible, even when that team was absolutely dog water, Matthew Stafford still put up the stats. Matthew Stafford still was, impressive. He still, produced. He still put up good numbers with the receivers. Mark Bulger did not. So, good question, though. I liked him. I think I have a jersey of his somewhere. Maybe I don't. I think I did. Yeah, I think I do. I agree with that, Steven. His first year, he wins the Super Bowl. I mean, Warner almost did that. If Witt retires, then I'd imagine Noteboom ends up being the left tackle. It seems very likely. But guys, appreciate you. I'm gonna head on over to the other channel, and we're gonna do some Elden Ring gameplay. So be sure to go over and subscribe to my new JE Gaming YouTube channel. Link is right here. No, I don't think so either, G Chuck. Well, 2010, the Bradford team, I think Brady brings them to the playoffs definitely. Bradford almost did at 7-9. But yeah, but I know what you mean. So, all right, guys, make sure that you subscribe. I'm gonna go live on that channel. We're gonna play some Elden Ring, probably the rest of the night. I'm gonna do more of these Q&As, so hopefully you drop on in, say hi, drop a like, drop a comment. Once again, always hit subscribe. But appreciate you guys. I'll be back tomorrow on this channel. Got some other stuff coming down the pipeline. You got more prospect interviews Alexis Kraft and I are going to be doing. And that's that. So thanks so much, guys, for hanging out with me on this Monday night Q&A. And look forward to doing more of these. Take it easy. And hopefully you guys head on over to the gaming channel, subscribe, and I'll be live in a little under 30 minutes. Later, guys.